Hello, YouTube. How are we doing? Is it that time? I missed you. What are you doing today? Patty, Amy, Crabby Long Legs, Arena, Jasmine, TC Bear, thank you for being members. Thank you, members out there. Emma, Georgiana, Honey Bee, good to see you. Patty, Crabby Long Legs. I gotta see this crabby long legs. I'm really thinking of a crab with long legs. Hello, everyone. Hi, how are you today? So I have had a discussion today that I really wanted to bring to your attention. Why not? I'm the one that drums up all the interest of what the reality in grooming really happens, right? So why not bring this subject up? And I got an email today about this specific situation. So we're going to talk about it. And I hope I've got some cat groomers out there. Any cat groomers out there? We're going to wait for them. I have no idea where they're at. But if I could call at least 10 cat groomers, I want you to listen to what someone says and asks, and then help me answer it. If you're interested in anything I'm wearing, is in the description of the video. Either click a down arrow or just hit show more right under the video. Make sure you hit that like button while you're here. If you're happy, we are live with you. And thank you so much for being fans. I really enjoy just working for you, working for each and every one of you, bringing you these videos for you to watch, listen, enjoy, and have entertainment. The earrings are made by Diane Geary, a great friend and client and YouTube fan. She makes them out of California, sells them in Hollywood, and she gifted them to me. You may have received a gift from me, as I have gifted many of her jewelry in some of your packages. So if you got a copper bracelet or earrings that I gifted you, those were handmade by Diane Geary in California. I searched over and over for a website of her jewelry and I cannot seem to find one. So I did put her name out there and maybe she will comment. I have not seen her in quite a while, but I know she is still out there. Hello, YouTube. Good afternoon on this Sunday, July 26th. How are you today? And although I'd love to sit and chit chat about really, are you okay? How are you feeling? Please don't have horrible mental thoughts. Really get yourself together if you are under that. Know someone like me cares about you even through a screen. Your life matters to me. So here's the email that I got today that made me, and I actually said, do you have a picture? I said, do you have a picture of this? Of course I did not get an after of some sort. If you're a groomer, if you are not a groomer, if you are going to start grooming, if you're going to start grooming your own pet, if you're going to shave a pet, if you're going to shave a cat, if you're going to shave a dog, if you're going to shave a rabbit, if you're going to shave a squirrel. Let me just let you look at this real quick. Here is the matted cat back. Do you see the matted cat back? Tuna, that N Lee was okay. That comment that N Lee wrote was okay. N Lee, you can repeat yourself. Very matted looking. Taiwan, ni hao. Please share, Veronica. Please share, share. I want more Taiwanese viewers, please. Ni hao. This is extremely matted. And if you could have watched many of the matted cat grooms that I have done, it is not easy. It's quite scary. Does anybody know what I usually say when we're grooming cats? Does anybody know what I'm about to say now? I'm going to let you look at this for just a moment. I really want you to understand the importance of this discussion today. Dana, you have a cat, right? Is this pretty bad? This is pretty bad. But there's, you know, while I'm looking for something to show you here, is there something you can say about this? I'm looking at something else to show you. Okay. Let's get out of there for a minute. You get the idea, right? We'll bring it back as people come into the chat room. Thank you so much for being here. If you have something to say, go ahead and say it in the chat right now. If you want to say where you're at, about what time is it. If you have a cat, especially if you are a cat groomer, I would really love to talk with you right now so that you can help answer some questions for this client. Let me bring this over here. Let's do that. Cat grooming is not easy. And I have to say, when I'm going to see if you guys know what I was about to say earlier about the cat. Does anybody know what I'm about to say? Do you know me well enough to know what I'm about to say about cat grooming? Yes, Deb's World, you got it. What else? There's something specific I always say about cat grooming, cat skin. Here we go, Pat. Yes, Pat. Pat's on that direction. Cat skin is very thin and cats are so unpredictable. I got bit by one trying to brush one out at a grooming shop. Now, brushing one out has nothing to do with shaving. So just imagine that. You cannot brush that type of mat out. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cat Chit Chat. Let me actually let this lady know I am live right now. Let me see if I can quickly get a... Let's go ask the lady who asked Dee Dee the question to come watch, since this is pretty much for her. Hold on, bear with me. I know you might be hearing that right now. Let me give her the link. If I'm sharing, go ahead. You share too. Share this to your social media so we can get some more people in the discussion if you'd like. But here we go. Here is what was asked of me. Are you ready for this? So much to do over here. Okay, so the client says, I'm just going to call her Jay. Jay says, I groomed a cat today, a feisty cat, according to the owner. At one point, the cat had enough and turned and bit at the trimmers. I couldn't see what exactly it bit because the cat wigged out, probably because it surprised him. It started bleeding, and I think its white hair made it look worse. It didn't want to be touched after that. The owner came to get him, and the blood was still there. She was a little upset, of course, but she didn't want to hear what happened. I feel very bad about the cat hurting itself, and I want to say something to make the owner and myself feel better, but I don't know what to do. What have you done in a situation like this? Any advice is appreciated. Thank you, Jay. I let her know. I said, I'm going to do a video for you right now. And I don't know about you, but I can't call the news station and have them do a video for me instantly. But I did get right up to do this video for her and many others that might be wondering the same thing. So I said, do you have any pictures? And she says, I don't have any pictures of after. I have a picture of before. So she sent me some before pictures, and then she says, I only have pictures of the cat before it started bleeding. The owner had described that cat as having dreadlocks, really tight mats all over its body. I've groomed many cats, and I've never had any cat wig out like this one did. Maybe from biting the trimmers? ? I feel bad about the cat wiggling out. I think she means wigging out. Like that. And I did that so you can understand that is exactly what a cat will do. You're sitting there and we're reading and discussion, and all of a sudden the cat just rah! And you're like rah! And not only are we talking right now, but as a groomer, you've got this clipper going. You might have a tool in your hand. You might be doing it by yourself. You might be scruffing the cat with the clipper, whatever you're doing. And all of a sudden the cat's like rah! I feel bad about the cat wigging out, but it's nobody's fault. I feel like I want to say something to the owner to express my care, but I don't believe she wants to hear anything. So here we are, YouTube, in another wonderful discussion. The debated hot things that happen during grooming and things that you should talk about before a groom. Just like as I say, you want to talk about some of the positive and negatives of your relationship with anyone and anything. Yes, that would mean a discussion about a relationship with a dog that you might have to have with yourself before you get one. And if you're alone, you might have that discussion by yourself. But what I mean is you have to sit down at every point in your life, and no offense, I know this is not life education, but really think about the pros and cons of something before you get involved, which we hardly ever do. So what were the pros and cons of a divorce and marriage and a relationship and a husband and a wife and all these things about having children, all these things. And now we're going to simply say, I am about to groom your dog or cat, and I need to have a discussion with you first. And you know what I found is that through a discussion, if you can't have one in the beginning, do you think you're going to have a discussion about a cat being bloody after? If I can't talk to you about my rules and regulations to come in for grooming, do you think we're going to be able to talk about your cat's ear getting cut off because it got its head tucked in a cage and it ripped off? Can you imagine that happening? Because if you can, it could happen. So let me just say, if you can't have that discussion with the client before you groom the cat or dog, then we should not even be going there. If me and you can't discuss how we are going to split everything up if we were to ever get divorced, I don't know that we should get married yet. Because we should be able to talk about these things. And we're not sometimes able to talk about them, correct? Have you ever, let me just, oh my gosh, I want to pull out this video out of my bum. I wouldn't tell you that this lady stood in front of my salon angry at me not grooming her dog during COVID-19 because she could not sit in front of me and watch, even though there are windows surrounding me that she could see through her car. She said, oh no, I cannot see through that window. And I said, well, oh no, I cannot groom your dog. I am so sorry that you came all this way, but I would rather say no now than to say, oh, the matted eyes were so bad I nicked one of them. And then what would happen? She would sue my ass. I guarantee you that would be the client to sue me. Even though we had a clear discussion, drop off, there was no dropping off. I am so sorry. I have to put myself in danger as it is, and now I can't even talk to the person who I put myself in danger for, the pet parent. So I don't want to be the only one talking here. I can tell you my stories all day long, and I hope most of you do believe me. But at the end of the day, what I love to have is some truth and facts from other people's stories, other groomers that can justify some of the things and reasons that I have behind what I do and the decisions that I make for my business. In many cases, I find that people don't know how to communicate. That's a big word right there, communication. Hi, Celeste. How are you doing today? Can I groom your dog? Okay. Do you mind if we have a discussion about grooming your dog before you come in? Okay. Oh, that pisses you off? Well, will it piss you off if I nick your dog? If an accident occurs, would it piss you off even more? Okay. Do you know that I'm using such sharp equipment to groom your dog, and I'm also putting myself in danger every time I work with an animal because an animal is an animal? Oh, okay. You understand that? Oh, I'm glad you understand that. Now, every time I put myself in danger, do you know that if I get bit, which will be the most likely thing that will happen, likely I won't nick your dog. Hopefully you're not a groomer that nicks every single animal you groom, because if you are, I suggest you just get some training or not groom it anymore. But if you nick once a year, if you nick once every 3 years, if you nick once every 5 years, then yes, accidents happen. Do you not know that the barbers that David would use we would change barbers. He would not even go to the same barber every time. And almost every one of those barbers nicked his neck. Yeah, almost every barber nicked his neck, and we never went back to the same one. That tells you a lot about a barber. Now we're talking about a groomer that doesn't even have the requirements of education that a barber has. Food for thought. So you can now, different states have different rules and laws on how long you have to get some education to do my hair. But there are no rules and regulations for you to do my dog's hair. And yet you have to groom my dog from head to toe, ear to butt, everything, tail to tail. You get what I'm saying. And yet, no nicks? You don't think that there's going to be any nicks when you have someone working with the entire body and landscape of skin that on a head of mine, you only have to mess with this roundness. And I'm human enough to say, if you stay still, I stay still. But a dog, you can't say, stay still. You're not going to tell a dog to stay still. Oh, you stay still. I mean, you can, but don't expect it to happen. Let me just say this. Well, while we get lost in this discussion, this is actually very serious. So when I became a groomer, I didn't know that I was going to groom cats, but I love the challenge. And I learned at PetSmart. And I remember, not only there was not enough groomers where we worked anyway, even though there was still like 6 groomers, depending on which PetSmart I did work at, and how busy each of those PetSmarts were, because sometimes when you're brand new opening up, it's pretty slow to start, get the clientele in, your brand new store you opened up. But I remember working in South Lake PetSmart here in Texas. And that was a tough job. It taught me a lot, and I'm really glad I went through that. Requirements, rules, dedication, agreements, contracts, what to do, what not to do, what I loved, what I didn't love, how people treated dogs, how people treated people. I learned a lot. I can't wait to write a book about it. But in doing that, I remember some of the girls that I worked for and with. And since I was a beginner groomer, and a quite fast one, which is why I moved pretty swiftly through the ranks. If you are fast, efficient, and watch your time, you can really do a lot with your time. If you're not and you want to take your time and do one dog every 2 to 3 hours, then okay, but you won't roll through the ranks pretty fast. So I got to a point where I recognized there was only one cat groomer in this whole vicinity. And she would get a lot of cats. And what really honestly sucked, there should be a cat room, okay? If PetSmart's listening, there should be a cat room for cat grooms. And then there should be dog room for dog grooms. And then there should be a whole separation on that's the cat side and that's the dog side. But that's not how it was happening at the time. And I don't know how it's happening now because I don't work there. But the cat groomer, let's just say, first of all, she wore a brace, and who knows what else and why else for what else. But cats grooming is very dangerous because cats are very unpredictable. There's a news article that came out yesterday explaining how cats are miserable right now due to COVID-19 because the humans have taken over their space. Who read that? And I thought, we don't have dogs yelling at the humans like, get the heck out of here. My dogs are all over me. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're home this much anymore. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had a cat, the cat probably would be upset that I'm over here at home in your space way too much longer. So there's not enough cat groomers for one. It's extremely dangerous for two. And I learned how to cat groom because I was like, I really want to help and not only do it, but just help this one lady, the only cat groomer in the PetSmart that I worked at, help her. And so she, of course, she's like, here, help me, I'll teach you. And so she did, she taught me. And I learned a lot of other things on my own and some really scary lessons when it comes to cats. And that's why when someone tries to tell me I'm doing it wrong, I tell them, you're not here and you're not with this cat and you've never done what I've done and you haven't had to do what I had to do and you have not worked with veterinarians that groom cats and have cats and you have no. We're not on the same page. So if I can get through a cat without nicking the cat, oh my gosh, heck yeah. So the question comes from this lady, Jay, and she truly wants to know. She truly wants to know the answers. Now, do you guys have answers for her? Because I don't want to be the only one that grooms cats that has answers for her. So are you guys ready? I would like you to give her some answers. I would like you to picture this, what has happened, and really explain what you think she should do. Now, as a cat groomer, I can tell you a few things, but I'm going to see if you guys have any information for her before I give her my answer, so that my answer isn't kind of followed by you guys. Lilu would love for my fiance and I to be home all day. Really, Dana? There's some cats out there, I guess, turning really angry, really angry. Tuna's trying to compete with that top chatter, I tell you what. I'm waiting for some answers. The cat groom video I have playing is me grooming a cat, matted cat, grooming a matted cat. Okay, I'm going to read to you one more time. Jay says, I groomed a cat today, a feisty cat, according to the owner. At one point, the cat had enough and turned and bit at the trimmers. I couldn't see what exactly it had bit because the cat wigged out, probably because it surprised him. It started bleeding, and I think its white hair made it look worse. It didn't want to be touched after that. The owner came to get him, and the blood was still there. She was a little upset, but she didn't want to hear what happened. Now, I don't know where Jay had actually groomed the cat. It did look like in the photo, it looked like what? It was in a house, not a mobile unit. It looked like it was in the kitchen. What do you think? So in looking at the photo, which we'll put this on pause here. Looking back at the photo here, this matted situation. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your donation, Susan Hogland, to my favorite groomer. Woohoo! Thank you so much for your donation. Be sure to donate to contribute to your favorite channel. So this is a cat, really, really matted back. So I'm showing you, this is dangerous to get mats off. It isn't like they just come rolling off. This is very serious stuff here. This is the matted cat. Now, what ends up happening is the cat's being groomed, right? So the cat's being groomed and wigs out after maybe a potential bite to the clipper, which, by the way, can truly be painful. It depends. Man, what if the tooth got chipped? Boom, boom! It goes right to the clipper. Have you ever had a dog grab the clipper? I have. Like, right into the clipper. The tooth gets in there. The tooth on a cat is extremely sharp. She didn't mention that, but I'm assuming if that matted, it definitely was probably all the way down, just like this video here is. Saki, you want to get up here? Come here. Come here. You want to talk to the camera? Well, I mean, put you on the spot? Are you put on the spot? Are you put on the spot? Hi. Hi. What are you doing? You wanted to come up here, right? All right, I'm telling you, here we go. We got Saki over here telling us what to do. We got Saki telling us what to do. Look how matted this is on this cat I'm grooming here. This is serious stuff. Why are you looking at me like that? Look at the camera here. Look at the camera. Say hi, look at the camera. Say, look at that camera, Saki. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your donation. Amy Cohen, to my favorite groomer. Clap, clap, clap. Woo! Yay! Yay! You just love your dogs. Oh my gosh. Look at your tongue sticking out. Oh gosh. Say hello, Saki Maki. Say hello, Saki Maki. Saki Maki. Saki Maki. Yay! Yay! You're so sweet. You're so sweet. You want to stay up here? I'll take that as a yes. Are you going to fall asleep? Why would you fall asleep right now during this time period? Okay. Okay, well, we're getting into it. Here's my answer for you. First, communication. So before I groom your cat, I'm really sorry. We have a 1-hour discussion. And if you can't last 1 hour, I've pissed a lot of people off. Like, get to the freaking point. If I get to that where that person is like that, we're probably not going to groom your dog. I'm probably not going to groom your animal, your cat. Cat groom is so scary that if you cannot have a good discussion, you should just not go there. And part of that discussion really has to include the fact that I'm using really sharp equipment. And like this one on the screen, if I can't explain to you over the phone that your cat could possibly get nicked when it comes in this matted, and you not understand that, like I said, we're not going to go to the next step if me and you can't have a decent conversation. And in that conversation is some truth and realistic. I'm sorry, you want to come down now? Is this uncomfortable for you? Okay, come down. I love you. There you go. So here's the conversation. Hi, how are you doing today? Yes, okay, great. You have a cat groom? Okay, great. Did you know that grooming a cat is extremely dangerous? No, I didn't realize that. Did you know that if a cat bites me, I might have to sever my limb? Did you know that? No, I didn't know that. Let me tell you why. A cat's mouth has so many different germs in it that do not react with my body as it does in the wild with its own body. Cats can clean themselves, lick themselves. They eat raw meat. There's things the cat can do that I cannot do. And so it's really important for you to know that the germs in the dog or cat's mouth could potentially affect me, and it could be as little as losing my limb. And so for me to get in a position to groom your cat, first of all, I need you to understand how serious this can be. And then so you also now are telling me you have a very feisty cat. Oh, you have a very feisty cat. Okay. Feisty is a nice sounding word compared to aggressive. My cat will bite your face off. That's not the same thing as feisty. It doesn't sound like the same thing. But guess what? It is. My cat will just nibble on you. Oh, my cat will just to let you know she doesn't want you to touch her. Oh, okay. My cat is feisty. So that's what I heard is like, I got a real feisty cat and I want you to groom my cat, but I don't want you to nick my cat. So now I get bit by a cat. Am I going to stand there? No, I'm not. I'm going to freaking rush to the emergency room and get a tetanus shot. And then I'm going to feel the pain in my hand for a few days, if not longer than that. And I hope to God the infection doesn't make me have to amputate my hand. And why am I telling you this? How stupid this is that we have to talk about this. How stupid it is that you would now be upset with me if I got bit by your feisty cat. But now I have to go. Who's paying for all of this? Because most groomers don't have medical insurance. You mean I could lose a limb just by grooming? Yes, you can. Do you mean that the cat could jeopardize my immune system just by biting me, even if it was just a warning bite? Yes, I'm telling you, yes. So is this a very dangerous job? Yes. Yes, it is. So the discussion didn't happen, and I feel like the groomer feels bad. I feel like the groomer feels bad because now the owner probably wants nothing to do with her. So I'm really sorry that you feel like the client doesn't want to have anything to do with you. There are some realisticness, and I hope a cat owner watches this. This is very serious. It's not easy to do what some of these groomers are doing, putting themselves in danger grooming a cat for $50, $40, $60, $100, $200. You can see on the screen here, I'm grooming this extremely matted cat with the assistance of the pet parent, as I usually like to have the pet parent involved because of cases like this. If something happens, I want you to see why it happened. I want you to see why we don't want to see this again. I want you to see how to care for your animals before it gets this way and why it's important. And somebody doesn't want to tell you, another groomer might not want to tell you how to do it because you might not be receptive onto being told what to do. But I don't care. I want you to know what to do so you can prevent things like this kind of matting. Unfortunately, this cat actually came off the street. If you remember right, they had adopted this cat, and the animal rescue, wherever they were rescued, I know where it was. I'm not going to say it. It's in the video if you want to watch it. They had bathed the cat already in this condition. And no offense, but yeah, it might have helped the smell, but it really made the mats even tighter. So my answer to this young lady's question is like, you cannot predict what's going to happen. And honestly, you can't. It's really scary to groom a cat as it is, but I would have had some discussions beforehand. And this client may be the one that you groomed. you may, how do I want to put this? If you didn't have that long discussion first and explain how dangerous matted cats are and can be, yeah, it might have wigged out. It might have wigged out the second you were pulling on the mat. I don't know how far you got in the grooming, but all that matted hair is extremely painful. And something spooked the cat, which can happen at any time. And she says she's groomed a lot of cats, so this isn't her first rodeo. So if she's groomed a lot of cats and this has never happened to her, she's asking me, hey, how can you handle this? What would you do now? I would leave that client alone. I probably would not reach out to that client anymore. You might just continue to piss her off. She doesn't trust you now. She doesn't know what you did. She doesn't know what happened. All she did was see blood. So you can't fix it now. It could have been fixed in the beginning, you know, like beforehand. And some other things are important, like how is this a first-time client? Did you groom this cat before? Because if you never groomed this cat before, then it's hard to say where it would have went, or how, you know, like how long she's been a client, that kind of thing. If you've had a client 9-10 years, 9-10 grooms, then I don't think she would have just done that to you, right? But I don't have enough information to answer that for you. Look at this cat, man. This cat, oh, I really needed to get in there, and it was just not happening. I think I ended up having the pet parent get back in there. Yeah, this cat was something else, man. It was so matted. So mad. It took a lot. It took a straight razor blade. It took scissors. It took a 40 blade, which I don't necessarily always use. It was so matted to the gill, and she did not bite me. I hope I answered your question. I really wanted other cat groomers to pop on here and answer for her. You know, the cat striked the clipper. And that means the cat bit the clipper somewhere, shape, or form. And if that happens, you don't know. The cat's going so fast. And where did she bite the clipper? The blade? In that? I'm wondering if she has a nicked tooth. Okay, here's another avenue. Everything's happening, and you got to sit there and think, like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Never talk to her again. Continue reaching out. She's not responding. She's pissed. Are you ready for this? Do you have insurance? Because at this point, shouldn't you have the cat looked at? At this point, shouldn't you say, hey, pet parents, I've been really thinking. I really don't know if what the cat cut. Do you know what the cat cut? Do you know if it was the roof of its mouth that's going to get infected and possibly die in a week? That's something to really think about now, right? There was blood on the white cat, which made it worse. Man, we should just call this person. Let's see if we have her email or her. Let's see. We need more information. Let's see if she left her phone number. I'm looking. Now I'm really wondering here. I'm just going to say, I was going to call you. I'm starting to think you needed to have her go to the vet. Oh, that's a bad day, isn't it? Is this okay? I was going to call you. I'm starting to think a veterinarian should get involved before it turns into something really bad. Okay. That would be cool if you got a hold of that groomer. I know, right? It is so bad now. When I take my Yorkie Gracie to get groomed, I expect them to have your standards, Dee Dee. Well, how's it been going, Susan? And have you still been using the same place? Tuna says, leave the client be. Chalk it up to a learning experience. I agree. So you don't want to be pushy. And the more you keep bugging, I mean, here's another question. Here, I got to type this for myself here. Hold on a second. Did you charge? Because once the animal's bleeding, I think you need to walk away. There should be no fee. Because, I mean, at that point, it's kind of like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm out of here. Did anyone else get hurt? These are questions I'm thinking here. Did anyone... oh gosh, can you imagine? Okay, seriously. So are you guys not analyzing this as well? I need a team here. You're my team. I need you to write in here. I need your help. Not for my sake. I know how I would handle this, but for her sake. So she's watching and she's like, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want people to know it was me. But this happens to a lot of people all the time. So let me pause this so you can get a really good look. These are mats. Does a cat really need to be groomed? Someone said. Well, it depends on the circumstance. This cat? Yes. That cat with the matted back? Yes. If you agree, say yes. Most cats take care of themselves, but sometimes a cat that's rescued, been on the street for a while, a cat that has gotten older or has health issues that allows it not to be able to clean itself anymore, they need help. And they need help as it's starting to happen, not after it's really bad, because then it's really, really bad for the groomer. So someone said, right, does a cat really need to be groomed? I am one to say, why does your cat need to be groomed? And then we go from there. Because cats, in my opinion, they don't get baths. So here's something I would say. Hey, I would like to get my cat groomed. When's the last time it was groomed? Never. How old's the cat? 14. Okay, right there, I'm saying, okay, here's your homework. You and your cat go in the bathroom, close the door, turn the water on, turn the shower on. I want to know what happens to the cat. Does a cat freak out? Some cats will freak out. Does a cat get close to the water? Does a cat get in the tub? That kind of reaction is what a groomer needs to know when it comes to, am I going to bathe your cat? Because all cats are not going to get a bath. I'm really sorry. You can Google this and see videos of cats that have really harmed and injured other people. You need to really understand that all cats do not get groomed. And I get that. But this cat or that cat with the mats like that, the huge matted, remember that one cat that we groomed? All we ended up doing, I got them ready for war, and all we did was shave the mat off the back and let everything else grow. That was a short hair cat. It was just unable to continue reaching to its back because of its age, I suppose. So there's other things that need to happen, and quickly shave that mat off, go home, done deal. But in other circumstances where the cat can't clean itself anymore, the hair is so long, and I do this thing, like try to do this with me. Ready? So you're the cat, right? And you're licking. But once the cat's hair gets so long, do it with me, that you're stroking you're licking your hair. But now it's so long, it's like, have you seen a cat do that where it's they can't even get to the end of their hair? That cat needs some hair cutting. And so, hey, some cats need help that they can't do it anymore. They need you. Okay. So be aware of that before it gets there where it's like all tangled and matted. It's really important. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I've heard that a lot, Jennifer T. Nancy says, I trimmed our cat sanitary and small mats. That's great. Keep that stuff out of there. She needs to let client be and reevaluate her approach before grooming, like the discussions, the waivers, the contracts. Very true. I think that this client, if I said to you over the phone before I ever met your cat, if I said, I might nick your cat, the cat's skin is like saran wrap. And if I nick your cat, there's going to be an injury. Do you know that this might happen? If I said that and the cat client is like, what? Oh my gosh. I think at that point I would be like, look, I don't feel comfortable. I very rarely nick while I'm grooming, very rarely. And I like to say that because I like to keep track, just like a safety report that every one of us should hold ourselves accountable for, nicks and injuries. It should be easily accessed. You should have it listed here. I have in this many years have had this many injuries. Things can happen, just like my own dang self cutting something like carrots in the kitchen. I've injured myself in my own kitchen quite a few times, and I can remember trying to put my finger back together. Do you not know that we have all nicked ourselves in the kitchen? So it's just like the same thing. So you have to give up the examples that you want them to relate to. Do you know I have a lot of nicks on my legs from shaving? Yeah, with a dull blade. Yeah, because I was trying to be rushed to go out dancing that night. How many times have you nicked yourself in your leg with your own shaver, your own razor, in your own shower with your own hand? So why isn't it possible that I might nick a dog or a cat while I'm grooming it? It's definitely possible for every single person out there. You know, there was a veterinarian that I had worked for a long time ago. Am I going too fast for you? There was a veterinarian that I worked for a long time ago, and I still think about this all the time. I don't know if about you, but I think about a lot of things a lot. Do you think about this? If I told you this, would you picture this in your head for just a wee bit moment? This veterinarian, which I would think you make way more money than a groomer. Am I going too fast for you? So I would think a veterinarian definitely makes more money than a groomer, but also spends more money than a groomer, because veterinarian, you know, equipment is pretty expensive. So I get it. But I worked for a veterinarian one time, and I couldn't believe this. Can I just share something with you? So during surgery, do you know what happens? Has anybody watched, worked, veterinarian, vet tech? Anybody out there? So going into surgery, right? You drop your dog off, you have this and that, okay. There's an arm shave that happens, just like the China meat dog we just groomed, Sawyer. He had that's a 40 blade usually, sometimes a 50, but a 40 blade, just like when you go into surgery, they have to shave every bit of hair off the site. They don't want anything to contaminate the site. So they shave. Okay, for a dog, right? They do shave that, but they also shave the site. If you're going to go in for a spay or neuter, they shave the site down to the bare skin. Why? I don't really know exactly why, but to keep the area like hairless, clean, they iodine it or get it ready, all that stuff. But this veterinarian had a 40 blade to shave these areas. And even the vet tech told me, he doesn't want to buy a new 40 blade. And on the areas wherever the 40 blade was used, the 40 blade had chipped teeth on it. And where there's chipped teeth, then it's a huger gap between the blades. And then guess what would pull in there? Skin. You're shaving it all the way down to the skin so you can get an IV in. You're shaving it all the way down to the skin so you can open it up, open the skin, and do surgery. And using a 40 blade with chipped teeth on it will pull in skin, thick skin in different areas, and it will just nick all these nicks on that area, the wound. And in my head, I was like, this is disgusting. Nobody would step up to him and tell him that he should buy a freaking new 40 blade. And I want to say I wasn't working there at that time, but I had worked there. And I thought to myself, so if this veterinarian makes so much money, but he can't afford to replace the 40 blade? And the reaction was this veterinarian's so cheap, he doesn't want to replace the 40 blade. He doesn't want to spend that money to replace the 40 blade. So instead of replacing the 40 blade, he would just use the old 40 blade, missing teeth, and just nick the dog a lot more than needed to be. Now, who is your veterinarian? And so did you ever wonder if you ever had that experience, not just with this veterinarian, but many others, other veterinarians, other vet techs that don't have the funding to purchase a new 40 blade, whatever the reason. Did you ever wonder why those nicks were there? Or that they were too heavy-handed, they just shaved and cut a hole instead? There's a lot of things that go on, including at our own doctors. Have you ever not been to a dentist where they jabbed something so hard and they just slipped? They slipped and cut your hole. That happened to me out of stupidity and trying to do too fast and not giving a crap about my gums. But a dog can't say anything. But I could see the nicks. And I feel like maybe this happened to my dog. Why? Let's see if she responded here yet. No response. Okay, so Jay, I hope that we answered your questions. One, you have to have good consultations, long communication, especially when there's mats involved. And if you already had that one time and you're about to go back and have another groom with a matted cat, same client, different time, you've been there multiple times, there's another discussion that needs to happen with a matted cat. The dangers of grooming a matted cat. And as soon as somebody says, my cat's this, feisty, mean, crazy, I would say, okay, so anything can happen then. So if your cat bites me, what's the routine? If your cat gets injured, what's the routine? Have that discussion. At the same time, when a cat now has drawn blood, and at that point, when she says the cat was done at that point, the cat wigged out. I wasn't there, so what? Let's just act like something else might have happened. What if the cat had such an injury that now the cat really should see the veterinarian? You don't want to wait too long when there's an injury that you don't even know what happened. You really should get something looked at. Now, if it was the tongue like ours, you know, that's why we get tongue piercings. Our tongues heal pretty fast. A cat's tongue heals pretty fast. An animal's pads heals pretty fast. An animal's toenail, just like ours, our nails, they heal pretty fast. You ever stubbed your toe and the whole toenail comes off and turns blue and all that? It just repairs itself in time. We didn't have to run to the emergency room and all that stuff. But I do have to challenge you to and question, like, you were there, you know what happened. If an animal wigs out, what if that has something to do with the brain aneurysm or brain or something? Wigging out sometimes is more than what you think. What if an instant seizure happened? There's a lot of things that could have happened. Now you need to question. So then you go into, well, do I have healthcare insurance for my business? Do I have insurance that will cover the healthcare of that pet now? And if so, you need to go ahead and get that pet into a veterinarian and call your insurance company and say, look, I have possibly had an injury on a cat. You may not have caused it, but you were the reason that the injury occurred. So you would want to step up. Maybe that would be your answer, is that maybe you didn't even try to do that. So the pet parent's like, she didn't even give a squat about my cat bleeding. I just want her gone. So you want her to be happy with you. That won't happen if you made my cat bleed. I'll choke you. You know what I mean? So now the cat, something happened. What if it had cut what if it chipped a 10 blade? Boom, bit the 10 blade. Half the tooth's missing. That's immediate pain, immediate spasm. Now we have a problem. It's in shock. The cat's panicked. It's got blood everywhere. You're not able to touch it, obviously. Now it needs sedation just to be looked at, okay? Pet parent won't touch it. The cat hides for 3 days, but the infection builds up for 5, and in 7 days, the cat's dead. Now, I'm not going to tell you this can't happen. It can happen. So the best thing you can do is today, you go ahead and stop what you're doing and say, you know what? Maybe this is bigger than me and I need to be the bigger person and I must take care of this. This is how I need to handle it. Get the voicemail because she obviously doesn't want to hear from you. Hey, ma'am, this is Dee Dee with My Favorite Groomer. This is what I would say. This is not my situation, but I would say, this is Dee Dee with My Favorite Groomer. I have called already XYZ emergency clinic and they are waiting for you to bring your cat in there because I really want your cat to get looked at. I don't want to not take care of your cat if it's something that happened during my grooming session. It wasn't that I said I hurt your cat or your cat hurt itself. All of this can happen, and that can be in the voicemail. Any of this can happen with a feisty cat. Exactly what she said to you, right? Any of this can happen with a feisty cat, but I don't know why she's bleeding. So now I've thought about it. I talked to somebody on YouTube who taught me to call you and say, hey, I don't want to keep bugging you, but I do want you to go ahead and at my expense, take your cat in to have it looked at before a few days pass and something that was little turns into something that was big. I'd rather get a professional involved now. And that might be what I go ahead and stop and handle right now. I don't care what time it is. And then it would be up to the pet parent And by the way, I would record this recording of myself calling the client, because if she says, no, I'm not going to take my cat in, I'm not worried about it like that, the cat will be fine, just leave me alone. 6 days from now, if the cat isn't alive anymore, then I know I did what I was supposed to do and I have it recorded. So in the link of this video, there's cameras, there's a tripod, there's things that I would recommend that you have and use. And guess what? This is really important. You've been grooming cats a long time now, she said, and this has never happened. There's a first time for everything. And I always go through life saying things like this: if it can happen, it will. If it can happen, it will. If I can catch COVID-19, it could happen. So, okay, well, I'm going to do my best not to catch COVID-19, right? It's a lot of information. Now, does anybody have anything else to say before we close? I wasn't thinking about all that in the beginning of this video either. And then I started really letting it sink in. What is the worst thing that can happen right now? The cat you groomed, I wouldn't even attempted it. True. Cass, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Check the video description. There's a lot of information in there. These earrings were made by Diane Geary. Be sure you hit that like button for me and share this video. If you know anybody grooming cats, maybe they can learn something. You know what? You don't have to just be grooming cats to learn something about this video. Insurance is not cheap, especially if you get it to cover things like this, but it's cheaper than being sued if you don't try to capture the problem before it gets that far. Jenny Blue, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your donation. Jenny Blue to my favorite groomer. Woohoo! Thank you for your donation, Jenny Blue. Now listen, I know I was talking to YouTube and they said 80% of y'all watching are not even subscribed. I think that is just crazy. So I decided that we are going to start drawings, but I wouldn't be able to give you any gifts out of the drawings unless you were a true subscriber. So when I do a drawing and I go check your page and you're not subscribed, you don't get entered. You don't get the drawing, you the prize. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Because this is what Jenny says. Hi, Dee Dee. I'm a new subscriber and love your videos. So if Jenny just got here, oh my gosh, you will not win if you haven't had 5 days of subscription. Crazy, or crazy, Kazzy, I think she did. She says, I have a feisty cat with dreadlocks. Pookie puppy, I will be doing that. Boy, oh boy. Make sure it does say you're subscribed. Some of y'all haven't decided to like fix your log in, create a login. So it doesn't even take your stats, to let me know. So if you're not even logged in, there's no way for you to subscribe. Okay, you guys, we're going to do a wrap up on this video. Thanks a lot for watching. We have something more to come out and talk to you about later. I'll see if I can do it later tonight, hopefully, and we'll see you then. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for giving your input. Lastly, if you want to make any last minute inputs, the YouTube fan is wondering, how do I get the pet parent to kind of be okay with this, to talk to me, to not be upset with me? How am I supposed to feel about this, and what should I do about this cat? Because now she doesn't want to hear from the groomer. What would you do? Stay away from that cat with the dreadlocks. Oh my gosh, so funny. Carrie, I don't know. Did you donate here? Let me see here. Let me see. Maybe I missed it. I better get back up. Oh, I just missed it. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your donation. Thank you for your donation, Carrie McManus, to my favorite groomer. Woohoo! Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you for your orders. I appreciate you so much. Yes, I totally missed it. It's scrolling while I was doing all that jabbing. Kathleen said, I had a cat with long hair and she never had to be groomed because I kept her brushed every day. Absolutely. And guess what? The brush I sell that is freaking awesome is not only the bristle brush if you have that long hair cat, but the Zoom Groom. If you go get the Zoom Groom, it's like a $10 brush. The pink ones are on sale right now too. $10 gets you this. It go back and forth. Oh my gosh. It's shedding like crazy, man. shedding like crazy. I love that brush. It's freaking amazing. I was reading here a little bit what Susan's saying. The last time I had my Yorkie groomed, the groomer literally shaved her sanitary, mainly her butt raw. It was red and angry. I was very upset, but I still paid because she did a service and because I was afraid that she would call the police on me if I didn't. Susan, before you left, was there a problem before you left? Hey, MP, what's up? Kazzy says, do you know how cats maintained their own fur in the wild and keep it from getting matted? Well, do you watch Animal Planet as much as I do? Because I know there was a piece yesterday on Animal Planet about tigers and lions. And I want to say they groom each other. They don't use a brush, but they have these awesome tongues. That's why I'm saying cats have a different kind of just structure with everything. We rescued a long-haired cat a few years back, and she was so scared and feisty we had to get our vet to sedate and shave her. Who else is just trying to think of a question so Dee Dee doesn't leave us? Oh my gosh, for real? That's what you guys are laughing about. That is hilarious. Pookie Puppy wants me to write a Bible for all groomers. Man, that would be a good one, huh? The Groomer Bible. All right, well, I have got to see you guys later, and maybe I'll be in my PJs. But thank you so much for watching. I mean, do you have questions? Because, I'll answer them. But I know some people are like, we're tired of this, Dee Dee. Where is Saki now? Oh my gosh, she's sleeping over there. Well, she's eyeballing me. Saki, you want to come on one more time? You're wagging your tail. Come. Want to come here one more time? Come here. Now I'm interrupting you. Well, when you interrupt me, I still have to pick you up. Come here. Come here. Don't roll over. She's not going to come. Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness, you guys. Well, how's your Sunday? It's good. It's kind of getting cloudy here. Make sure you share, like, love, give people advice. She doesn't want to come. She's got her eyes on me. Those of you guys down in South Texas, I don't know what's going on down there. Not only COVID-19 extremely huge right now, but golly. See if she's trying to call. Someone's trying to call here. No answer. Jay, I did this video for you. I was going to call you. There's no phone number and get some more answers. Man, I would just honestly right now, if you're listening, are you out there listening? Are you out here listening? She's like, no, I'm still grooming this cat. Right? No, woman, I'm grooming this cat. What do you think I'm doing? No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously. All right, we'll come back later. We'll talk to you a little bit later. All right, love you guys. We'll talk to you later. If you're a member, thanks for being a member. If you donated, thanks for your donations. It's keeping me alive here and well for you to watch and be entertained by my favorite groomer on YouTube. I love the couch potatoes. I bet you have a big couch, Jennifer T. This is pretty fun. This cat was really hard to groom, man. That was one of the worst, but hardest cats, matted wise. It was so sad. Yeah, we had that hurricane hit down South Texas, but we also suffering a lot of COVID cases down there, man. That just makes it a really bad day, doesn't it? All right, talk to you later. Good night. Bye.